What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over everything you need to know about Fortnite's new Hot Bat Summer update. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more. Comment down below what you think of the update, and if you guys would like to use my code in the shop when getting anything, it is EvolvedJake, just like my channel name is, and it is underneath the webcam at all times. So this update added a lot of stuff and changed a lot of stuff. We're going to start off with the new items, or the added items. The bank shot pistol is a new high damage pistol that will actually ricochet off of surfaces and continue to travel and potentially hit an enemy. So this is a weapon where you could potentially miss your shot and still deal damage to enemy players. And it is a like high damage pistol style weapon, kind of like the mammoth pistol in that way, but with like a, ricochet effect. This will probably be really good in situations like if you know somebody's camping in a vault or one of those sprite rooms, just shooting it in there and maybe hitting them could be pretty helpful. Another high damage weapon is going to be the heavy impact sniper. This is going to be replacing the hunting rifle as the sniper style weapon this season. When compared to the hunting rifle, this is very slow and very clunky, but it is a high damage, hard hitting sniper. You will be able to one shot enemies if you hit a headshot. And also it does a lot of structure damage to things like cars as well. The rapid fire SMG is in the loot pools, is just a very run-of-the-mill high fire rate, low damage SMG. The golden apple was added as a produce item, which I believe heals 30 white health. There were also mythic versions of the ranger pistol, warforged AR, rapid fire SMG, and heavy impact sniper. And you actually get the heavy impact sniper from the duck vault at Cluster Coast, like where you used to get the mythic hunting rifle. And the mythic heavy impact sniper actually has the 2x scope from chapter 5, so it will be a little bit more snappy and reactive, but still, a lot slower than something like the hunting rifle. For the vaulted items, we have the hunting rifle getting vaulted, the flex SMG, the Midas flopper, and the spicy fish. So they added a few different items, didn't vault too much. I think the main change here is obviously going to be the removal of the hunting rifle and the heavy impact sniper being added. If you like sniper style gameplay, the heavy impact sniper will definitely work well for you, but it is more of a sniper. This is like going to be a post up weapon. You're not going to be like shockwaving in the air and hitting as many shots with something like this as you would the hunting rifle. It is more of a, clunkier, slow sniper rifle. There were also several new sprites added today. The air sprite is probably the best one. It gives you faster base sprint speed, and this actually feels really good. And then also better jump height when you do sprint jump. So if you sprint jump, you get a better jump. This could be really useful in fights for, throwing off enemy aim or being elusive and hard to hit. Also, just traveling around the map feels really good with this, especially because we get unlimited sprint with your pickaxe out in zero build. So like air sprite plus pickaxe sprint feels really good. This also makes you immune to fall damage. The 7 sprite marks enemy footsteps on the ground for a period of time, similar to what the tracking visor did just by being in your inventory in chapter 6 season 3. This will also show NPC and sprite footsteps as well. So if you're a sprite hunter, this might be a sprite that you consider taking to find more sprites. And then the level increase on this just goes to increase the duration those footsteps remain. The Batman sprite is kind of useless for zero build. It basically just gives you glider redeploy with the Batman cape. I feel like this is going to be something that's more useful in builds because they don't have glider redeploy automatically. And then finally, the Vinny Jr. sprite. Sprinting makes your slide kicks damage enemies, and then slide kicking enemies boosts your reload speed and fire rate. I think this is probably not that good. Like, there might be a time where you slide kick somebody and then that boosted fire rate just absolutely melts them. But a lot of times trying to slide kick an enemy is probably just more trouble than it's worth. But it fits the theme of him being a professional soccer player, slide kicking, There were new gizmos added. You use these similar to how you would the portable extractor, but you have to like press a direction. If you hold the button to get to your portable extractor, it'll pop up a little menu, kind of like the emote wheel, and then you select the one you want. You still will have your portable extractors, but there is now a sprite locator gizmo, which spawns a nearby buried chest with a sprite in it that you need to go dig up. The extraction site booster, you can use this at an extraction site to call in a boosted crate, which will give you extra dust when you extract, and then it can also have things like the shield bubble junior, the crash pad junior, the chug splash, or the friend zone bubble. So you can actually like use those items to help yourself extract. There were several new pocket items added for zero build. You can get these at the pocket item vending machines. There's the pocket spicy ice cream, which will heal you for a bit of white health and give you that faster movement speed. The pocket crash pad junior, and the pocket porta cover. The porta cover was from chapter 6, I believe, but it's a little like piece of cover that you can use in a fight. I think some of these pocket items could be pretty good, but the shockwave is probably still going to be my preferred one. We did get some weapon balance changes in this update, but I don't think they were really that significant. The Ranger pistol did get nerfed though. It got -1 damage. Its headshot multiplier was reduced from 2 to 1.8. And it also got a slightly larger spread when aimed in, and then slightly lower reload speed. So it's a bit weaker. Headshots aren't going to hit as hard. It should be a little more inaccurate, but my experience playing today, I didn't really notice this nerf at all. It was still probably the preferred kind of medium to long range spray weapon. I don't think this nerf affected things enough. Its accuracy still feels really good and still just kind of feels head and shoulders above everything else, even with this change. And then the burst AR did get buffed. It got improved accuracy and reload speed. The Mythic version now has the same fire rate as the other ones. Previously, it was lower. And then the Mythic also has even greater improved accuracy than the regular versions. And the burst has always been good. It still doesn't feel as accurate when you're in air. And this is one of the reasons why I think the Ranger pistol just reigns supreme this season, on top of it being an incredibly good weapon. But it also is very accurate when in air. And a lot of fights this season, especially with the shock rocks, end up with you kind of flying around chasing people who are also flying around. And in those situations, the weapon I would want more than anything else is a Ranger pistol. The burst still felt like decently inaccurate here. There's a new Batman logo shape for these zones. So similar to other zone shape changes we've had, like the triangle and the 7 zone or the rectangle zone, there's just a chance for this to happen. And now there is a Batman shaped zone. I think of the different shaped zones we've had, this has probably been my least favorite. It's a pretty small sample size because I only played a few games with it today, obviously. But every game I played that had the Batman zone just felt incredibly slow paced. Like it felt larger than what the zone would regularly be at that time. I don't know if that's actually true. Like I said, it could just be a small sample size, but so far I wasn't a huge fan of the Batman shaped zone. Another huge change to the way the game plays is going to be a new Battle Bus Rift anomaly. So this has been a pretty divisive topic thus far. So this just spawns randomly like how any other anomaly would. And in the Battle Bus Rift anomaly, the game is completely changed. So there will be a battle bus that appears on the map, and then you have 2 minutes to get to that battle bus. And then once the 2 minutes has passed, there will be a 15-second countdown timer. And in that time, you need to actually board the battle bus to exit the match and win the game. When this Battle Bus Rift anomaly happens, that is the only way to win the game. Even if you were the final player, you need to make it to the Battle Bus extraction and kind of stand on it in the final time once it leaves. You can actually stand on the hood of it as well. But this just completely changes the game. There can now be multiple winners. Even in solos, you can have multiple players win because they all stood on the battle bus. There will be some supply drops around here as well, which, like we talked about with the sprite extraction thing, these can have the Shield Bubble Jr., Crash Pad Jr., Chug Splash, or the Friend Zone Bubble. And so throwing the Friend Zone Bubble on the battle bus and the final few moments of it being an anomaly could be a way for you to win the game. What I was doing most when I had this anomaly was I would kind of just like hang out in the battle bus area and eliminate people. And some people might see that as griefing, but you still need to defend yourself. If you stand on the battle bus before it's ready to leave, you can still be eliminated off of it. So you need to kind of be close, be in this area, and be ready to defend yourself. And then when that final few seconds indicates that the battle bus is about to leave, that's when you want to make a break for it and then try to get on it. The shock rocks actually help with this as well, because you can quickly kind of like jump over there and board the battle bus. So this completely changes how the game plays. I've seen a lot of people who are not fans of this thus far. While playing today, I did see it several times. It's not a super rare Rift anomaly, but it's not a super common one either. Probably as time goes on, they may increase the chance of this happening, because that's been something that has happened in the past with Rift anomalies. But this is something, that completely changes the game. I don't know if we've ever had multiple winners in a Fortnite match before. There were several new bosses or NPCs added to the map, and these don't actually show in the collection tab for some reason. The Poison Ivy NPC is outside the Battle Bus house on the north edge of the map, and she can be dueled for a Mythic Ranger pistol that fires faster when aimed in. You heard that right. Not only is it a Mythic Ranger pistol, but it has a higher fire rate when aimed in, so that's going to be super busted. The Harley NPC is outside Sinister Strip, and she can be dueled for a Mythic Warforged AR that fires faster over time. So as you hold down the shoot button, it starts to shoot faster and faster and kind of like ramp up, similar to that exotic Hollow Twister AR we had in the past. The Catwoman NPC is under the bridge south of Wonkyland, and she is a Mythic Rapid Fire SMG with extended mag. This is probably the most underwhelming of those, but in builds, it could be pretty good. And then these 3 NPCs can also be hired as scout specialists, but I think in most cases, especially for Poison Ivy or Harley, their mythic weapon is probably significantly more valuable than having the marking NPC. And then finally, Batman is actually near Catwoman. He is on the island southeast of Wonkyland. He does appear in the collection tab, and he sells the Batman Grappler for 2,000 gold. So this is going to be the Batman Grappler item that we've had in the past, where you grapple and then you deploy your glider. You can actually choose to free fall with this because of the glider kind of detach mechanic that we have had. So you don't get stuck in the air as much as you maybe would in the past, but you can take fall damage if you splat the ground with this. Having something like the air spray or the dashes on your character could help you, not take fall damage. I thought this grappler was not very good. I think ever since they kind of removed its ability to cancel the glider effect in Chapter 6, Season 3, it's been kind of underwhelming from that point on. But this season, especially with all the mobility we have like Shock Rocks, I just don't see the grappler being that good outside of like maybe traveling the map or something like that. There is a Batcave POI underneath Wonkyland, which has a guaranteed Batmobile. So this POI is themed around Batman, and you can go in here, and I'm sure if you're a fan of the movies or the show, you probably really like this area or, recognize things here. But there's also a guaranteed Batmobile car here. There are other Batmobiles that just kind of spawn on the map, and this is a car that actually has, the car basically has glider redeploy. If you get any sort of air with this car, the wings will deploy, and you'll start to kind of like fly around with it. You don't get much boost. It's more of just like, gliding down, kind of like how you would with your glider, but you get a lot of airtime and you can travel further that way. This car is very risky to use, though, especially in solos, because if somebody gets in the passenger seat, you can very easily eliminate the driver from the passenger seat. It doesn't really try to prevent that at all. And then one final change I want to talk about is the produce baskets around the map, the little vegetable baskets. These have been changed, so they now drop a mini shield and ammo, and then you have a chance to get 4 apples, the golden apple, which we talked about earlier, which shields 30 white, and then the peppers. So they've kind of consolidated a lot of the produce and made it, a little more universal. The chance to get minis is obviously going to be helpful here, especially because in zero build we start the game with a mini. So you have your starting mini, plus if you find a produce basket, you get another one. Now you're already 50 shield to start the game. I don't think that change is going to be a huge game changer, but it still maybe is something worth knowing about. But that is going to be it for this video. This update actually changed and added a lot. Let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments below. If you guys did find this to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.